Hello, I am filming my long-awaited tattoo update today. I look back as to when my last update was and it was 2 years ago, so I didn't realise so much time had gone past since then. So I'm filming one today. It's been highly requested and I hope you enjoy it. I won't go over the old stuff because it'll just take too long, so I will link my other videos. Apologies if you can hear cars and rain. My camera is set up by the window because the lighting is crap today, so can hear that, I do apologise. So over 2 years I've had quite a bit of work done. I just rewatched my old video and the last thing I spoke about was my back piece. I haven't had that, I've had a few bits added, a bit of shading in that. I'll show you in a cutaway, but I haven't had obviously anything done to it because it's there and it's almost finished. There's a little bit of shading around the sides to do, but that's it. So the newest probably addition is this arm, which I've had a lot of questions about. I've had a few little ones here and there which I will quickly go through. The first newest one is my letter B on this arm, and this is for all my dogs, well, bar a couple in my life, have started with a letter B, so it just made sense to get a B. I want a portrait of Betty and Bert eventually, but yeah, I used to have Bruce, Bella, Betty, Bert, and now my parents have now got Bruno, so it's just like a little, I don't know, something silly, something that they mean the world to me, so I thought I'd have the letter B on my arm. And it's just a gap filler as well, so kind of made sense to just stick something there. And I love font, I love how it looks. So the next thing I got was like a geometric shape on the back of my leg. I don't think I've shown you this, I'm pretty sure it wasn't in the last video, but it's basically a iris flower and then it's got a geometric shape through it. I love this, and I was meant to get matching calf tattoos. Not matching, similar calf tattoos. I want a geometric shape on the back of my other leg as well, but we just haven't got around to doing that. But yeah, I love that tattoo. I love how it looks. I love the simplicity of it. The pain rating, I'm going to say it was quite tender on the back of the calf. Probably a 4 out of 5. I've got really shit at having tattoos. I used to be able to sit there for ages and just have it done. Because Paul, my boyfriend, does them, the novelty hasn't worn off because I still love getting it done, but I can kind of sit there and whinge and be like, can we go home now? Whereas if you're going to a tattooist that you don't know, you haven't got the ability to do that. And then the last thing on this arm, I don't think I didn't show you, it was my hand. I got this last year, beginning of summer, I'm going to say. It's one of my favourite tattoos. I absolutely adore it. I've been toying with the idea of hand tattoos ever since I started getting them. It hasn't got any meaning to it. I just drew this woman's face and I love it. And I just love how hand tattoos look. My sleeve stopped at quite an awkward place before. It kind of came above the wrist bone on the side, so I wanted to kind of elongate it and just put something cool on my hand. So we went with this woman. The pain, it wasn't that bad, to be fair, the pain. It's coming around the knuckles, on her chin and up the sides was a little bit tender, but other than that it wasn't too bad. It's probably like a 3 out of 5. And then it was originally just the face. We bought some honeycomb from the wrist round onto the side of the thumb, and that was quite painful around there because it kind of goes onto the palm of my hand a little bit. So that's the hand tattoo. I just love her. She hasn't got a name or anything. I just love the way she looks. I get a lot of questions as to whether this arm is finished or not. Awkward. The postman's just looked at me. It's 98% finished. All I want to do is add a few honeycombs up around the top, which I think I talked about in my previous video, so that's all we've got to do is just getting around to doing it. So I guess the next big thing was this arm. It was completely bare in my last tattoo update I did. I wanted it filled, and we kind of came up with a Japanese inspired sort of piece. So basically it's 2 cranes, not as in like an industrial crane, but the bird. So there's a crane on the front and one on the back. Obviously I'm going to show you this in more detail. There's a lot of feathers, a lot of bird. We've covered up an old tattoo here, which was Hakuna Matata. If you'd have seen in my previous video, I think I had that. at that point, but that's gone. That covered so well you can't even tell that it was underneath. There's no lumps or anything. I had all the line work done, I think in one sitting, which was about 3 or 4 hours. And then Paul started shading in the birds and my upper arm, and we also added a big ass peony on the back. As you know, I love peonies and I've got them in numerous places on my arms already, but I wanted a huge one, so we went with that. I love that tattoo. And then yeah, we just started shading in, and I've just had this bit blacked out. It's completely black, mainly to cover up old work. Obviously I had the Hakuna Matata script here, and I just love how big bold black tattoos look. So as I've got a bit more, I'm not going to say covered because I'm not covered, I've got a fair amount, but I'm not covered compared to some people. But as I've got more tattoos, my taste has changed, and I really like how some tattoos are really bold, so I wanted to go with solid black. So we took it around the Hakuna Matata and up under here. It's still got to carry up all to my armpit, and I'll probably have my armpit blacked out or dotted at some point, but yeah, that's gonna hurt. So the plan is to take it all the way down, cover my Chanel, so I will just have like a big bold black piece of work here. Added some cherry blossoms in like a kind of reverse negative, or negative, whatever you call it. So they're like skin on top of black. And yeah, basically the future plan is to cover the Chanel. It was fun while it lasted. It was my first tattoo when I was 18, so I don't hate it, but it doesn't go with what I want anymore, so that's being covered. The plan is to have another flower on this part of my hand, and the rest will be blacked out like this. So that is what's happening with that arm. Like I said, I've become really shit at sitting there and tolerating the pain, more so than I ever have been. My back kind of finished me off. I wouldn't recommend getting a back piece to anybody because it just fucking kills. So it made me a bit of a wuss, and I can't really sit there for longer than 3 or 4 hours anymore. It just wipes me out. And it's because I get it done by Paul, it's him having the time to fit me in, because obviously he's working all day, every day, tattooing, and the last thing he wants to do is work all through the night. So it's kind of arranging that time with him where he doesn't mind doing it. So that's all I can say really about what I've had done. I've got some questions that I've been asked, so I'm just going to get onto the Q&A. J Bar was asked, what's your opinion on shows like Tattoo Fixers, and would you ever consider going on it? Not that you need to. Thank you. I wouldn't go on it, no. I hate programs like it because it throws such a shit light on the tattoo industry. I'm not a fan, let's put it that way. It's basically full of people that have just got pissed, had a shit tattoo and want it covered, and I don't find it entertaining to watch. I've got nothing against anybody on there, but it's not my cup of tea. I really don't like it. I get that people have old tattoos that they want covering. When you've got a woman going in with some cock drawn on her leg, like facing towards her vagina, like what was going through your mind? Don't be a dick. So that's my opinion on programs like that. I just don't like them. I watched Grace Neutral's, what was it, Pins and Needles I think it was called, last night, and I liked it. It was still questionable, the whole thing, but I liked her take on it. I liked how she explored different tattoo cultures in the UK, and that's the sort of programme I like. I like to watch like the history of it, not some twat getting it covered up because they were pissed and they got it by mistake. It just, once you've seen one, you've seen them all. Okay, so I posted this on Instagram ages ago and I never made the video because I'm shit, but I've got a ton of questions. There was 38 I think in total. I probably won't get through them all because my battery's going to die and I'm going to run out of memory, so let's get answering them. Somebody's asked, do you find that you love your dogs more than most humans? I feel this way all the time. Your tattoos are amazing. Thank you. Not tattoo related, but yes, I love my dogs more than humans. Okay, here's a good one. Do you find that your life has changed since becoming heavily tattooed? Like, do people react to you different ways in public? I only have a few, but I get so many dirty looks. I haven't had a problem personally with getting dirty looks. When I used to work in retail, I used to get a ton. Every customer I'd serve would mention my tattoos. Okay, not every, but the majority of people. All I've had is nice comments, if I'm honest. I think people have become used to it. I think it's a thing now. I think it's weird if you haven't got a tattoo. Not saying if you haven't got a tattoo you're weird, but I mean people are more accepting of it, and it's like with the show I watched last night, she was saying it's become mainstream having tattoos, so if you haven't got one, you stand out more basically. So yeah, I think people just accept it these days. You get the odd old person walk past you and like their eyes follow you, but I don't know whether it's necessarily a bad thing. I don't get offended by anybody's comments because I don't care. I mean, if you don't like them, you don't like them, and that's fine. Everyone's got their opinion. It just doesn't affect me because I love them. Which tattoo hurt you the most? Hands down, my back. I hated it. Like, I just, as soon as the needle went in, I was like, right, I want to go home. When I had the line work done, it took about 4 hours to do the whole of, we did it all in one sitting. That was, I sat really well, to be fair, and then as soon as Paul started shading it, I was done. I just didn't like it. Bottom of my back was excruciating, and down the spine was quite painful, and around the sides, just all of it was shit. I hated it. I love how it looks, like it's probably my favourite tattoo, but I probably wouldn't do it again because it was vile. Pros and cons of having tattoos. The pro is obviously it looks amazing. Well, in my opinion, I love seeing people with them. I love looking at what people have got. I just think it looks cool. I don't know. I feel stupid saying I think it looks cool because you can be cool without having tattoos. But I've become, I guess over the last 4 years since being with Paul, I've become more open to how people view it and all that stuff. Like I could probably make a completely different video on how I feel about it. There's a lot of pros, I think. And it makes an outfit, like stupid things like that. Like it's very materialistic, and I think a lot of it has become materialistic, but it's what people like, so I don't see any cons of it other than work related. If you can't get a job because of it, I think that's a bit poor these days because I feel quite strongly against that. There's a lot of talented people that are tattooed, and if you're not going to give them a job because they've got a bit of a drawing on them, I think you're a bit of a prick. I get that people don't want, say, a receptionist with a face full of tattoos working on reception because it's quite intrusive. I get that, but then also on the flip side, it really pisses me off because it's not equal opportunities. So I could go on and on about that. What image, tattooist or moment in life inspired you to get your first tattoo, or did you always see yourself with permanent art? It sounds ridiculous, but as a kid I was such a tomboy. I used to love wrestling. I used to love like Tony Hawk's skateboarding game. I used to love Matt Hoffman's BMX game, the PlayStation. I was a proper tomboy, and I think having an older brother kind of rubbed off on me, and I've never been a girly girl. And I remember I used to be in love with a wrestler called Lita, and she had tattoos, and she was my idol back in the day. And I wanted to turn 18 so I could get my first one, and I only planned on having one. And that was my Chanel tattoo. People say you become addicted to it, and I kind of believe that you do. And obviously because Paul is a tattooist, it's kind of rubbed off on me, and I haven't become the guinea pig, but I've been able to get what I want when I want and kind of been spoilt with it, I guess. But then saying that, I think if I didn't have a tattooist for a boyfriend, I'd probably still have as many as I have. So it's always been something I've loved. I've always admired people with them or artists that can do it. I just think it's a real cool industry, and I just love it. So yeah, I probably was always going to have lots of tattoos. Did you consider your first tattoo a big step, since after that you're not a blank canvas anymore? How do your tattoos make you feel? Do you consider yourself prettier? Yeah, so there's a few questions there. Did I consider my first tattoo a big step? No, because it's what I wanted. As soon as I was 18, I went and did it. So it wasn't a big step for me. As for not being a blank canvas, I've never cared about not being a blank canvas. I always remember when I had my first one, I was like, I'll never have my legs tattooed because I don't want anybody to see them on my wedding day, and I don't want my arms tattooed. So I don't care about my wedding day anymore. Like if it happens, it happens. It's not going to be a big hoo-ha if it does happen, because I'm just not that sort of dramatic person that has to have the big white wedding. So why I ever worried about that, I don't know. But yeah, being a blank canvas is kind of out of the question for me anymore. Do you consider yourself prettier or more beautiful? Yeah, I like how it looks. I prefer myself with tattoos than I did before without them, I guess. Are most of your tattoos done by your boyfriend? The majority, yeah. My back, this arm, my hand, the letter B, and a few bits of honeycomb are done by Paul. Oh, and the back of my leg. The rest is done by another man, Pete, that works with Paul. So yeah, they're all done at the same place. And I will link their shop and all their details in the description box if you do want to check them out. What's your favourite tattoo? It's a toss-up between my back and my hand. But then I do really love this arm and how it's coming on. Because I haven't got like little tattoos, I can't pick like a favourite because I see them all as a piece. But I'm probably going to say my back is my favourite because it's just a statement. And yeah, and my hand and my arm. I don't know, I can't pick. Do you regret any of your tattoos? No, I don't think so. I've got a keyhole on the back of my neck, which I don't really like. I wish I hadn't have had it. I don't know, but you can't see it, so it doesn't bother me, but I probably will get it covered at some point. I've had little, I had a rocket on the back, oh no, it was this arm. I had a rocket on the back of this arm, which obviously is now covered. My Hakuna Matata here, which is now covered, and my Chanel will be covered. So I have tattoos that I don't mind them being covered up now, but I didn't hate any of them. I just don't mind if they're not there anymore. Like I wouldn't go to the extent of having them lasered off or anything. The only one I probably would have lasered is the one on my neck. Not because I hate it, I love it, because it's a song from one of my favourite bands, Incubus, but I want something bigger over it in the future, and it's quite an awkward thing to cover because it's so bold and it's quite long. So if I was to get something lasered, it would probably be that, just so something else could go over the top of it. What are your future plans for your tattoos, and are you having any more? Yes, I will always have them. My future plans obviously is to get my hand done and the rest of the black on this arm. I want to finish some details on my back, get some more shading in that done. Probably take some honeycomb up and round down onto my back. There's like a little gap around the side of the lady on my back which I want something in, and I don't really know what. We were originally going to put like a border around her, but I think it's just too much detail and it's going to take away from her, so I don't really know what to do there. I want both my bum cheeks done. My skull goes down onto the one bum cheek, so probably can't do anything too big on the one, but I'm thinking a big flower on the one of my bum cheeks, and I want my stomach done and my legs, and I've got a portrait that I want done, but I'm just trying to find an artist that I really love. Not that Paul can't do a portrait, but I'd quite like something done by one of the artists I really love. So I'm making some inquiries about that, and hopefully I'll get that done over the next year or something. My next massive piece will probably be my stomach. Let me answer one more. What are some of your favourite tattoo artists? I have to refer back to my phone because I follow a lot on Instagram, and I'll leave all their handles below. Dan MOLLOY, and he does awesome work. He's been in the UK for the past year, and I really should have booked it and I'd regret it, but they've gone back to Australia now, so that's never going to happen unless they come back anytime soon. I'd like something done by him. There's also a man called GIBBO, which is based in Leeds. His work is awesome. I'm thinking maybe him for my portrait. I don't know yet. I don't know whether I want it done in his sort of style or like a proper black and white portrait. I'm not sure yet. There's CROOKS in Ireland. FIBS, which I think is he's based in Puerto Rico, but he's actually doing a guest spot with CROOKS in Ireland this month or next month. I'm not entirely sure, but his work is awesome. They're like purely Japanese based artists. Paul went and got tattooed by him not long back when we went to Ireland, so I'll insert a clip here. Well, there's actually the vlog I did of it. I'll leave that link somewhere. Oh, I love I think it's PARI or PARI, CORBITT. He's also based in Australia, which I'm gutted about because I'll never be able to get there and get anything from him. Obviously Paul, because he's my other half and he's done all of mine. His work is awesome. If you're based in the Midlands, he's your man. Oh, and Neil DRANSFIELD, he's awesome. I was inquiring about my neck with him, so I might get something done in the future with him. He's in the UK as well. So if you've got any other questions, please leave them down below. I'll be happy to answer everything in the comments. I always reply to my comments. So yeah, if you've got any other questions, please ask. If you want any more tattoo sort of videos, like to see what it's like a day in a shop or something like that, I can always do that if you're interested. Like I said, I will leave Paul's details, Pete's details, the shop's details, everything I'm wearing. It's always down below. Please subscribe if you do like my videos. It's free. I don't have to tell you that. I'm sure you know how YouTube works. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you soon. Bye.